In an attempt to finally get away from this nameless, janky $15 stand I've been using for both of my headsets, Kiwi was kind enough to send out this very fancy RGB stand many moons ago, several sols ago. It got pushed in queue, several projects got in front of it, got cut in line, so to speak. But we're taking a look at it today. I genuinely hope that this display on the front is just showing the black unit and it's actually white. Otherwise, just simply not going to work with my theme or setup, and this will be going home with one of you gentlemen or gentle ladies. But this is for use with the Meta Quest 2, 3, or Pro, which is pretty notable because most accessories do not transfer over from the 2 to the 3, which is most unfortunate, as the controllers and the headset's dimensions itself are different. But things like stands that are external to the headset, you can kind of get away with reusing or sharing amongst the model lineup. This is an official Meta Quest accessory. You got that little stamp and sigil up there, removing the outer box or sleeve. I can't do shit until I cut that. Now, I do want to quickly mention that I'm no stranger to Kiwi Designs, as they've been at the forefront of VR accessories for a long time. In fact, I bought their fan attachment for the Valve Index, which is pretty much dead silent and pulls a lot of heat and coincidentally moisture out of your headset. I also bought their facial interface, which unfortunately I didn't like as much as the Stalker, but if you're going to be working out with this headset, which the Valve Index is a terrible headset for exercising, but if you're going to use it for such, then I do recommend using their silicone facial interface so you can clean it. This isn't the actual interface that's in here. Peeking at you. So I bought Kiwi accessories with my own hard-earned caps in the past, and then they were kind enough to reach out and see if I wanted to test out their latest and greatest stand. So the packaging, very Elgato or Apple-like in the fact that it is undyed brown, organic-looking cardboard on the outside and then sterile white on the inside. You do have this little bit of stainage from the actual stand itself rubbing up against the product. That's not great. Underneath this little divider with their branding, make things better. Oh, I hope the stand sure does, because this thing's been a piece of crap. You have your assembly instructions. I use air quotes because it's 6 steps and you can pretty much just look at the pieces and see how they snap together, but this diagram does help. Initial impressions, other than the base being substantially heavier than something like this, the plastics actually feel almost identical to this $15 generic joint. Just does not feel the best. These plastics feel pretty goddamn horrendous and just super cheap and flimsy and not good. Also, I don't know if they have a white variant, but if they do, I guarantee that's what I requested because, you know, why the hell would I not? You are going to have a couple of plastic peels to keep fingerprints and dust and debris clear of your components. You are going to have your instruction manual. And this came in a baggie. It is magnetized. This has two 90-degree USB-C elbows and one end is magnetized. This feels crazy. This rubber's really goopy and soft and supple. So some cost-cutting measures deluxe over here. No USB-C cable or power adapter. You kind of expect no brick. We're starting to see that a lot but no cable. And the plastics feel the same as this $15 generic joint. Since the RGB lighting is the key feature that separates it from the competitors that are half the price, I'm going to walk you through what that does right now. There are 2 buttons to control it. You have this power button and then this toggle, which indeed is 2 buttons, left and right. The small circular button on the right is going to be your power button. Press it once to turn it on, hold it down for a few seconds to turn it off. When the lights are on, you are going to single press that power button to switch between the modes. You've got fading, breathing in and out, then you got spectrum cycling, then you got your solid or static colors, which I think most gamers are going to use. It's the less distracting and disorienting. And the left and right toggle switch is going to switch between your colors. And when you are in static mode, pressing that power button will change between 5 brightness levels: low, mid, IGN review, mid-high. So I do like the RGBs, just this little line around the deck instead of some craziness that's blasting your corneas out so you feel like you're getting flashbanged every time it's turned on. I really love the convenience of a charging dock or cradle that you can just drop your headset into and it begins charging. That doesn't work with this because you need to place in your headset like moi and then take this little sucker and plug it in the side, line it up on the USB port. Hello, get in there. Sometimes it doesn't really... There we go. And depending on what kind of aftermarket head strap you have, this is a Bobo VR, which I have yet to review, but pretty sick. It might lift up the headset a little bit over the stock facial interface and head strap, so there might be a little bit of clearance issue here. In essence, what should happen is you just drop the sucker in, boom, and it begins charging. Although I've had quite a few times this just doesn't seat, which sucks because I have a really old Quest 2 stand, and that doesn't have that issue. You can just drop it in and it charges every time. I do think the integrated controller stands is really cool. However, almost all cheap generic versions also have stands off the side for your controllers as well, and some of the nicer ones actually charge the controllers. So overall, I'm not too impressed with this. Everything from the build quality, the plastics, this just... You see what I mean? This is flimsy as all hell. I'm not a strong guy by any means, and I could just snap this into the Shadow Realm. But I'm not going to, because one of you Stallions or Stallionettes is going to be taking this sucker home. The first one of you bucking Broncos to type Kiwi in the comment section will be getting this puppy shipped out. Just make sure you're in North America, because this thing has a little bit of weight to it, and I don't want to go bankrupt shipping it to you. Let's head over to the PC for my final thoughts. To give some praise where praise is due, assembly and disassembly, or teardown if you will, is freakishly fast and toolless. I just broke this apart in like 7 seconds, and it's getting boxed up. So this is a $60 stand on Amazon, which is where I do recommend picking this up if you are gonna pull the trigger. This is gonna be the link in the description below. It is directly from the Kiwi shop on Amazon, not some third-party vendor. So there is no white variant. This only comes in black. Probably explains why they sent me the black version. The white one doesn't exist. $60, so that's pretty much the price of a new release game. $70 for some modern AAA titles, as we've seen. No, personally, I wouldn't pay that for this. I do like RGB when it's implemented tastefully in a game room, and I've had headset stands and even a VR headset stand in the past that had RGB, and then I ended up canning it, trashing it from my setup over here because I didn't think it looked good. And this one does look the best out of any RGB stand I've seen. Having said that, it doesn't seat perfectly every time, whether that's an issue of me having an aftermarket head strap. I mean, if that's the case, a lot of Quest 3 users have aftermarket head straps because the Stalker, while a big step up over the 2, is still not great. But what I want to point out is that this is Amazon's choice. This is the overall pick, so this is the top dog if you're looking for an RGB stand. But me personally, I would rather pick up something like this $15 little generic joint over my shoulder that I've been using for 3 years, and then allocate that $60 towards a game or something, because the overall build quality, the plastics felt identical to the cheapo over here, and the RGB, while looking cool, something like a VR or headset stand, I just don't really think looks good in the old red, green, blue lighting department. It's not like something like under a desk or behind a TV, which kind of universally looks fucking, everyone's moist or stiff seeing it. Even exposed light strips like that, that's pushing it right there. But you know, it works because it's behind some foliage and stuff. The Kiwi Designs RGB stand is linked in the description below if you want to check it out. And I'm also going to do a review of the Quest 3. I know it's a little bit time late because that headset's been out for a while, but also a long-term comparison of somebody that's owned the Quest 2 for about 6 years. Actually longer than that. Before it was rebranded Meta, it's still got the Oculus logos on it and whatnot. Do a little side-by-side comparison of the 2 and the 3. The 3 is obviously an upgrade, but is it worth the additional ducats? Depends on how you use your headset. Drop in the comment section below what you think of the stand, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace. If you enjoyed the video, liking it helps it to get seen by more gamers, so this information will reach and assist them as well. Much like the back of the TV, I've got plugs for all of my socials down there in the description below. And your wallet will greatly thank you if you check the description, because there are exclusive discounts on a ton of products, including controllers, KontrolFreeks, keyboards, mouse pads, clothes, and energy drinks. And keep in mind that you, the viewer, keep this channel running. The more Stallions and Stallionettes trotting around the stable, the better, so mollywop that subscribe button like it owes you money, and we'll have the same amount of fun tomorrow.